Hey gang, welcome to an all-new episode of Devalls Collection Expansion Extravaganza right here on ToyWorldOrder.com. Joined by the lovely wife, I know, right?
2 seconds in.
What can I say, people? I'm professional. Joined by my lovely wife, Carrie Devalls.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Good.
Yeah. We had an argument before the
We did
camera went
not.
live. Yeah, we did.
It's fine.
We had an argument. It was great. It was good times. And then she went, this is going to be a great episode. Perfect.
That's nice.
It's good. Kat, you met a few episodes ago. Hopefully she doesn't decide to join us again.
Maybe we should just start over.
No, we're good. Let's just keep going. So gang, this show is Shut Your Mouth. This show is all about the things we find at flea markets, garage sales, shut up antique stores, auction sites, and so much more. And of course, as always, Carrie is joining me for the time being. I've tried to convince her to join me for every episode, but she thinks that you viewers enjoy me by myself much more than you enjoy us as a team. Although I think it's a lot easier to have somebody play off of and make laugh.
I'm doing some of the stuff because some of the stuff is mine.
All of it is hers, almost.
No, I'm afraid these things, whatever this is not my toy. I don't even know what that is, so don't even.
Well, let's start off right. Let's start off with some action figure things. Recently, at one of the more recent Toy Man toy shows in Bridgeton, Missouri, which is something myself and Dave Draper and Pixel Dan go to quite often, we set up there, we sold some stuff, some extra stuff that we had, and we, of course, I sold about as much as I bought. Notice no comments from the peanut gallery over here. Huh.
What's this?
Yeah, it's pretty, yeah. Anyway, so I came home with some stuff. Not just for me, but stuff for her as well.
I know, but the whole point of going was to get rid of some stuff.
That's true.
So you took a tote of stuff and came home with a tote of stuff. So, alright. Whatever.
What can you say? It happens. But I found some cool stuff at this last Toy Man show. I found a couple things I'd been looking for a long time that I didn't think I was going to find for a decent amount of money, because these figures are some of the rarer figures from this short-lived line, and usually they go for quite a bit. And the guy actually had this, one of them that was on a card, but the card was separating. He had it marked for he wanted like 25 bucks. And I'm like, dude, I'm not paying you 25 bucks for that because, just to let you know, it's Lothar from Defenders of the Earth, which was a very short Galoob line. But as you can see, the card was busted. This is literally how the bubble was when I picked it up. It was floating like that. You could just see it. You can make it talk. Hello, people. I am Lothar, king of the... Anyway. So I was like, dude, I'm not gonna pay you 20 bucks for that. I'm like, I'll give you 10. And he's like, oh, I don't know, man, 15. I'm like, no, 10. And he finally went, okay, 10. I'm like, cool, sold. So I bought Lothar. And these characters were pretty unique. Of course, they did this nice little punching action. Yeah.
Was that a cartoon?
Yeah. It was a short-lived cartoon.
Okay.
Based on old cartoons. The Phantom, Flash Gordon, Mandrake the Magician, old serial comic books, newspaper comic strips.
Gotcha.
So these figures are kind of cool though. They all had their fists were all die cast. So like their forearms and fists are all made out of die cast metal. And yeah, see that?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, see?
Okay, yeah, I gotcha.
So when you find them loose, they're kind of hard to find in decent shape because they get scuffed up and scratched
How
up.
does this work?
Yeah.
How do you...
I had it wrapped around his hand, but it doesn't want to stay wrapped.
Does he throw it?
Well, he kind of...
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, be careful.
Oh, that's how small pieces like to get lost, people. There we go. We'll just put that back there. So I found Lothar, which was really cool. He's one of the rarer of the figures. Him and the Phantom are two of the hardest figures to get, next to like Mandrake the Magician. You can find Flash Gordon, you can find Ming the Merciless, and you can find Garax, who is the Ming's little cyborg robot buddy. And he's kind of neat because he's got die-cast hands, but he's just this big, I got a big old sticker of Ming the Merciless on his chest. Big overhead, look, squish, 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 squish. these are a very cool line and a very short-lived line. The hardest things I found, well, the hardest things I've tried to find were actually the vehicles for the line, which you had we can't see them from that distance probably, but you had Mongor, you had Gripjaw, you had the Garak Sword Ship, you had Flash Sword Ship, you had the Phantom Skullcopter, and the Defender's Claw Chopter. So these are actually, the vehicles for this line are actually super, super hard to find.
What? So each one had their own, it's almost the same number of characters. They each have their own thing?
Pretty much, yeah. Surprisingly. Yeah, I mean, you could break it down like that. But that was it. This was the only series. It was these figures and those vehicles, and that was it. And then the line went nowhere after that, of course. Nobody really bought them. Although now they're sought after by comic book.
Of course, that's how it usually works.
Sought after by comic book fans, because comic book fans are constantly looking for those figures. One of the other cool action figure things I found at Toyman were these awesome vehicle kind of transforming things from Matchbox. Basically, they were Matchbox cars and they had little robots in them. They're called parasites. And there were 6 altogether. I found 4 of the 6. He had 10 apiece, but then he had half off of everything on the table, so I actually got them for like 5 apiece, which is awesome. All carded. Hadn't decided if I'm going to open them yet. The bubbles are really kind of yellowed and nasty. But they are just a neat line. I don't think a lot of people realize that this line exists or existed. When people see them, they're like, those are kind of neat. What are they? And you explain them, and they're like, oh.
I wouldn't know what it was if I saw it.
But each of the robots, of course, folds up and then sits into the cab, so they kind of disguise themselves kind of like Transformers, but not nearly as cool. This was kind of Matchbox's.
I love the original tags on them.
Yes, they were $4.99, $5.49.
That's funny.
Yeah. These ran about $5 a piece.
1985.
Yep, these were out about the height of Transformers. So, really neat little line. I'm
surprised they're not more popular with them being Matchbox.
I'm sure Matchbox collectors. Yeah, I'm sure Matchbox collectors find them. I've seen this a couple times at the show now, and this was the first time that same dealer was like, "I just want to get rid of them. Nobody wants them." And I'm like, "I'll take them for $5 a piece. I'll take them."
Of course you will.
That's right. Dang it. Very cool little line.
Evil creatures from the tail of Halley's Comet.
Mm-hmm. They're all from the tail of Halley's Comet. See, that was about the time Halley's Comet was coming out, or was making its rounds around the Earth, and so they were like, "We'll pretend these are from Halley's Comet."
All right.
One other action figure thing I want to show.
Oh yeah. Was
this awesome? Now I have the smaller one, and I think I actually showed. You right there?
Yeah, I keep getting stuck on that.
I think I actually showed the smaller collector case on a past episode of Flea Market Finds. And this one we stumbled across in an antique store, left it there because we didn't want to spend the money on it. And then I went back a few weeks later and went, well, I have the extra cash. I'd kind of like to have that collector case if it's still there because it's in really nice condition and they're kind of hard to find, the jumbo ones anyway. I think I paid $28 for it, which is actually kind of a deal when you get down to it.
There's nothing in it.
No, there's nothing in it. But it is really cool. It's got some great artwork inside, which I love because it just got of course the vinyl's all in really great shape. The clips are in great shape. The floor panels they sit on, there's a weapon storage. The cardboard's in still great shape. There was even like a Constructicons, I think, label sheet in there from the G1 line, which I thought was kind of funny. I'm like, oh, those go to Constructicons. Yeah, I paid $28, got it home, opened it up, and there was another price tag inside of it that I saw at Toyman. I actually saw this at Toyman. I know whose it belonged to. It was a dealer from here in Springfield who was trying to dump it for $50. I'm guessing he sold it for way less than $50, and the guy turned around and put $28 on it, which made that guy a profit, I assume. So you do the math. I got a deal, and that guy lost money because he sold it for really stupid cheap, I imagine. Probably like $10. But very cool. I don't know where I'm going to put it yet. It's a large collector case. But I love the collector cases. I've been kind of gravitating towards some of the more rarer ones lately that we found just because they're really nice display pieces. They do make really great displays. I've got a GoBots one. I've got another Transformers one. I've got a Masters one, of course. And then this one. So although we just bought new shelves for the basement. So I'm sure that's where that will find a home soon. As soon.
Hope so.
We've got some Disney stuff. A couple little things. Some little toys here. Some of Carrie's favorite stuff. You can see. Now, when they did the 100 Years of Magic, which was the celebration of Walt Disney's 100th birthday, and this would have been, I couldn't tell you when this started, 2002. So we actually weren't together when this started at all. We went for the 50th anniversary of Disneyland, and that was kind of our first big kind of date. I paid for plane tickets and all that good stuff, and I was like, "You're coming to California with me," and she was
my
like,
first trip out of state, really.
Yep. So that's what made her fall in love with me and Disney. Well, I think there was more than just that. I think it might have been the $80 hoodie I bought her because we were freezing our butts off in California. Nobody bothered to tell us in California in September that when the sun goes down, it gets cold.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
No.
Didn't realize that. Got a little cold. But these came out. McDonald's did a 100 Years of Magic, and they did 100 toys for that year. Not the whole year, but their Happy Meals, they had 100 different characters throughout the course of Disney's cinema history. And we've been kind of picking these off one by one at flea markets and garage sales.
Yeah.
We liked. I mean, we could go on eBay and buy the whole set of them, but it's more fun for Carrie and I to go to flea markets and garage sales and dig through bins and boxes.
Usually for a quarter, 50 cents a piece.
Yep.
And we've got a piece of paper with them on, and we just mark them off when we get home.
Yep.
We know which ones.
A dealer at Toyman was kind enough to give us a list of all of the figures and all the sets that they were in, so we can just easily mark them off as we get them.
Yeah.
And these were ones that we didn't have, and we picked them up. So of course there's little Steamboat Willie, Winnie the Pooh.
I just like them because there's so many of them.
Yeah. Cheshire Cat
Some
from
of
Alice
these
in
are missing
Wonderland.
their stickers. In
Some
the
of them, but
front,
that's okay. Bernard from The Rescuers. You've got Timon from The Lion King. The Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland. I don't really like Alice in Wonderland, but we bought it anyway. So. Cusco from Emperor's New Groove, which is one of the best Disney animated films of the last 20 years, if I do say so myself, and one of the funniest. You got Mulan, Princess Mulan from Mulan. Her base is a little beat up, but Flick from A Bug's Life, which I love that Pixar movie. That's a fun little movie. And then Flounder from Little Mermaid. I don't think we have the Little Mermaid one though, which is sad.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I know we haven't found her yet. I got to get on that. But of course, we're trying to collect all 100 of these, and that's our goal eventually.
Yeah, just like you said, it's fun to just dig around in a box and find them. And
it is. It makes. I mean, that's like we said. That's what Carrie and I do for fun. We go to flea markets and garage sales, and rather than go to movies or out to dinner, we do that on the weekends, which to us is more fun. Gets us outside. Gets us. We take road trips.
well, we usually spend less money at a flea market than we would going to dinner and a movie.
That's right. We went to flea market this morning and spent like $12.
Yeah.
And bought a whole bag full of stuff, which is awesome.
Some of this stuff actually.
Yeah, some of this stuff.
Not these, but some
yeah.
other ones.
This.
I am obsessed with Muppet Babies and Disney Babies.
And yes,
They're so cute.
And any baby cartoon character she's
Look how
obsessed
cute he
with.
is.
He's a little dirty.
I don't know
We
what
found
he's
this.
from. He's just cute.
Yeah, he was from a company called Toy Play. I'm not sure when he was made.
I don't know, but I just think he's adorable.
We found the little baby Gonzo, little stuffed animal baby Gonzo, which is pretty adorable. He's a little dirty, but we'll try to clean him up. And Carrie, like she said, gravitates towards.
I love the little babies. I don't know why.
She just thinks they're the cutest
just
things in the
cute.
world.
Yeah.
Especially our good friend
Yoda Soup.
Yoda Soup actually sent
Shout
us,
out.
Yep.
My new BFF.
Sent us a little stuff. We're not going to show it on this episode, but just give him a shout out that we had been looking for. We had collected all the Muppet Babies McDonald's toys from the 80s. Of course, there was Baby Kermit, Fozzie, Piggy, and Gonzo, and then we discovered the McDonald's collector books and discovered, Canada had an exclusive baby animal with that set.
And I was so mad.
Because Animal's her favorite.
Yeah.
So, and she loves Baby Animal. Well, our good buddy Yoda Soup had an extra one.
Because he's from Canada.
Because he's in Canada. He's from there. He finds those McDonald's toys in Canada all the time. And he's like, well, I've got an extra one. I could send it to you. And
yes, please.
Carrie was very, very happy. So Yoda Soup, thank you very much.
It came a couple days ago, and I was happy.
She was very excited for that.
Yeah,
so along with some other great stuff. So.
Yeah.
This actually I found at a flea market
here in town.
Actually, a couple months ago. This is from a company called Dakin from the 70s, and they made these little licensed posable vinyl figures and mini. Her back of her dress is missing a button, and it's a little rough, but she has movable arms. Her head moves. There you go. Just these were kind of a hot thing in the mid to late 70s, late 60s probably too. They made all kinds of stuff. They made Disney. They made Looney Tunes. They made a lot of different characters.
Squeaky kind of thing.
Yep. You don't see a lot of Dakin figures in the wild. Usually you'll find them in antique malls more than anything. Well, this one I happened across at the flea market here in town, and just sitting on a table, and that was the first thing I grabbed when I went, because I'm like, holy crap, I know what that is. I'm buying it. And she was like $5. She got a little paint scuffs and stuff, but
a little bit here and there, but otherwise she's...
Usually Carrie and I, we love the stuff that shows wear, because it shows it was loved, and it shows that it had a good home, and now it has another good home. So her shoes are actually a separate piece. They actually...
I was going to say, it looks like it comes off.
They come off.
Let's not.
Yeah, the shoes actually come off.
So no one else will not be able to get them back on.
So it's kind of hard to find her in her dress with her shoes. You see a lot of them naked without shoes. So that was a good...
Like this maybe might come off her head too, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a separate piece as well. It's kind of connected in the back.
Oh, be careful.
Yeah. Something really cool to add to the collection, though, and I would love to find more Dakin items like this, but they're kind of rough and rare to find. So if we wander across them out in the wild, we'll pick more of them up. So awesome, and something good for this one. Especially when I come home with bags full of stuff from the flea market that she didn't go to and gets very sad. She got bummed out. She didn't want to go to that one. I went. She was like, go ahead. I don't want to go.
Yeah, but even though I didn't go, I still got stuff.
That's right. That's right. And then I got in trouble for buying her stuff.
Yeah.
Stop buying me stuff.
I know. What else? We got some cute, moving on. These cute puzzles.
So, the story behind these puzzles is pretty cool.
Oh boy.
I'll tell the quick version. We usually...
And if you want the longer version, listen to Married to the Collection.
Yes, listen to a recent Married to the Collection episode called, I think it's...
Happy Meal
Heaven is the name of the episode. We usually, when we go to bed at night, we sit up, we play on the computer, we'll look through auction sites and estate sales. We'll watch something on Netflix.
It just depends.
This night we were looking at stuff on an estate sale website, and we were kind of looking to see what was close to us, what was happening, and we happened across this estate sale that was happening on a Saturday morning in St. Louis, which an hour and 40 minutes away from us. So we were like, okay, well, let's see what's in there, and we start digging through there. Number one, it turns out this lady was a ex-McDonald's executive, and she had 40 plus years of accumulation, and a lot of that was Happy Meal toys. And I'm not just talking random, I'm talking full sets, boxes, bags, and huge everything.
Yeah.
Anything you can imagine from the last 25 plus years of McDonald's Happy Meal toys were there. So we, of course, this one was like, oh my God, we have to go. And I was like, okay, well.
Well, because it was all going to be a quarter.
Yes, it was all part of, they had, usually estate sales, you go, everything in the house is priced. They open the house at a certain time. You get there early, they'll hand you out numbers usually if it's a big estate sale. So you're like one of the first few people in the door. This one was different because it was that kind of estate sale, but it was also, they had just had like 100+ boxes, this big old fruit boxes full of stuff in the garage, and they were going to, at 7 o'clock, they were going to give out numbers to everyone that was in line, and then
for the house sale.
For the house sale, which started at 9, and then at 7:30 they were going to open the garage, set out all the boxes, and start basically a garage sale, and everything was a quarter.
It was a quarter.
Unless otherwise noted. So, of course, I told her, well, if we're going to go, we need to be there super early and be one of the first few people to get numbers for the house and be there. So we got up and left at like 3 in the morning and got there at
Things we do for toys.
Got there at like 5:30-ish. I was number 3 in line behind 2 other people, and then several other people joined us as the day went on. So Carrie and I were number 3, number 4 to get into the house. And we she was in heaven. Digging through these boxes.
Well, and the nice thing was, it wasn't just like as you can see, she had a lot of other stuff that we weren't expecting.
Yes.
Disney stuff.
Yep. These 2 master puzzles were actually in the garage. And usually, like we've talked about before on the show, we don't buy puzzles because you can never tell if they're complete. Well, this lady had actually taken the time, and I looked inside one of them, and she had bagged them with a note that said complete, but these puzzles were 100 pieces, and she wrote 109.
We don't know.
And she was an executive for McDonald's, people.
We don't know.
That's frightening. But I said, okay, well, they're all here.
But you said, too, that you just liked the cover.
I love the box art of these. These are great.
It really didn't matter.
These old classic Masters Universe jigsaw puzzles. These are great. So I grabbed, literally, there was a stack of puzzles. And they were all licensed puzzles. And I just grabbed the whole stack, threw them in a box. Because we were just grabbing boxes full of stuff and walking around with boxes and then digging through them later and dropping the boxes back off.
Right.
Because we were like, oh, we're just grab the whole box. And then that way no one else can dig through it. And we'll dig through it. And then they can dig through it after we're done. Sounds bad? Yes. Yes, it does.
We weren't the only ones.
We weren't the only ones doing that. But there was a lot of good people there that helped. We helped one another find stuff. So in that extent, it was really good. But we got these home. I put these two masters together. Beautiful puzzles, beautiful artwork.
And all the pieces were there.
All the pieces are there. They're gorgeous. They're in great shape. These are just two of the puzzles that I got a whole stack of stuff. So these were a lot of fun, and that estate sale was great. And Carrie says that we may never see another estate sale like that.
I think that might have been the holy grail of estate sales.
I don't buy it. I think,
really?
No. I think we're going to find another estate sale just as good or better.
That's
someday.
not a McDonald's executive.
You never know.
Well, I don't.
You never know, people. That's why I always say.
But it might be a while.
That's why I always say keep digging because you never know what you're going to find.
I know, but that was.
It was pretty intense. It was really cool. But yeah, these two Masters puzzles are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
We'd like to put them together and glue them and frame them and hang them up, but.
Yeah. I don't know when that's going to happen, people. I got told she's not buying any more shelves for me. I can't imagine she's going to buy frames for me, too.
Okay, next.
All right, well, we'll do this neat little... So everybody knows Captain Crunch. Everybody knows the Captain Crunch cereal. I'm sure everybody's had Captain Crunch. It's cut the roof of your mouth like me many times. Then again, I'm weird and eat it right out of the box, so my bad. But I found this little guy from the 70s at the flea market here in town in a box, and he was a quarter. And yes, he's a little beat up. His mustache and his eyes and all this are actually supposed to be white. And as you can see, they're faded. But for the most part, he's in really nice shape. And I really, really liked this stuffed animal, even though he's kind of beat up, because I always liked this version of Captain Crunch. This was such a cool little stuffed animal and a cool licensed character for cereal. Captain Crunch was always one of my favorites in the 80s. But so yeah, to find this just in a box full of stuff, and a guy just had this and some random other stuff, and I was like, how much for the stuffed animals? A quarter. And I'm like, oh, you have no idea what's in here.
Yeah, because didn't we look him up when we got home? And I mean, the ones on eBay were a little bit nicer looking, but they weren't a quarter.
No, they were like 30 or 40 bucks. So and again, not that we're selling him, but
no, it's just nice to know.
Nice to find stuff for deals, and it just goes to show you, we get asked all the time, how are you guys so lucky? We're not lucky. We just literally go every weekend. Or almost every weekend, and we just dig. We dig through websites, we dig through auctions. I mean,
don't be afraid to ask, because you might see this in a box and think, oh, he's probably wants all the money for that. And then you're like, how much you want? A quarter? Oh, okay.
Yeah, usually if you ask these guys,
and they just act like it's, and then walk away like he does and high five me and be like, we just got that for a quarter.
We're like, yeah, this is awesome. So he's really cool though. I mean, all his stuffing's really, all still there. He's a little, he's got some his little body is felt is starting to act a little weird, but you can't beat him for a quarter. Even in the shape he's in, you can't beat him for a quarter. So something really cute to add to the collection, and I've got an idea on where these are going.
Yeah, because we've got a few things like this now.
Yeah, we do. So I've got a good idea with the new shelves we bought, where one of those shelves is going to be probably nothing but stuffed animals on both sides. So it's probably the only way to do it. So very neat though. Yeah, Captain Crunch.
All right.
It's
one more thing?
No, two more things.
Two more things.
Of course, y'all know that we're big 80s collectors. These actually were brought out by Kenner in the 80s.
I'll hold this one.
Okay. This one, of course, is Surprise Bear, and this one is Wish Bear. And these were little posable figures from Kenner in the 80s. They sold a whole bunch of these. I mean, they were Care Bear cousins.
Were they like sold in a box with like a bunch of them?
No, they were all sold separately. They were all boxed separately. And I found a number of these and started to collect them because
we've got 5 or 6 of them now.
Because we always find them in boxes and bins full of stuff for like
a quarter,
yeah. $1. Usually I try to find ones that their hair hasn't been cut, and both of these still have all their hair, because you can tell the original ones from the reissues one, because they did reissue these. The original ones actually have hair. They have little tufts of hair sticking out the top of their heads.
The originals do?
Yes, the originals do.
Then what did the new ones have?
The new ones have nothing. They're just...
No hair?
Yeah, they're just flat.
Oh.
So these were kind of fun.
Why would they not give them hair now?
That way they just kind of distinguish from the originals from the reissues.
I see.
Yeah. I love these little guys.
Now, is this one supposed to be holding something?
No, they all had hands and
okay.
There were accessories. Like there was a Carolot, like a play set, and that had accessories they could hold and stuff like that. They had a cloud car they could sit in and drive. So they were little vehicles and accessories for this line. So
I think they're cute.
Yeah, they are. I love Care Bears. Care Bears are a fun line and very collectible, very easy to find, pretty much if you know what you're looking for. And something I think everyone should have a few Care Bears in their life, because it just makes you smile. All right, last thing for this episode.
Come on, run out of room.
Yes. Of course, I always like to finish most of these episodes off with a board game.
And holy cow, we could do 5 or 6 episodes
of just board
games with 7, 8 board games in each episode.
We could. That would get boring though. And I like to give you guys a little bit of
Maybe
variety.
We should do 1 episode of just board games, just to get 10 or 11 out of them.
I found this game at Toyman. It's from 1980.
Snow White.
It's Walt Disney's Snow White from Whitman, and it is a complete board game. I don't see a lot of these in the wild like this. And of course, this one's kind of neat because it's got a magic mirror to it, which actually has...
It doesn't look... a lot of... We've talked about this before, some of the older games. Pretty simple.
Yes.
Spin the thing, move around, you're done. I mean, it's not real complicated, but we like the artwork.
The object of this is to wake Snow White from her sleep by being the first player to land the Prince Charming playing piece on the same space as the Snow White playing piece. So, yes.
Not too difficult.
No, not at all. But it was all here. Guy at Toyman, the dealer had it. And I was like looking at some board games, and he's like, I got some Disney ones. And I'm like, let me see them. And he pulled them out. I'm like, can I look at them? He's like, yeah.
Oh, now see, I get it.
And the magic mirror, of course,
get it.
Whoops.
I didn't really look at this when you brought it home.
There are magic mirror cards, and as you can see on the camera,
I'm looking at it trying to read it, and I'm like, why can't I read it?
They printed all of them backwards, so you have to use the magic mirror, and I don't know if you're able to see that, but you put it, of course, this one says, move ahead 2 spaces and spin again. So in order to read it correctly, you put it in front of the magic mirror.
That's kind of neat.
And you're able to actually read what it says. So it's a very neat little concept, very simple concept to a cute little kids game.
I'm going to keep playing while you look.
Oh, are you?
Oh, look at that.
I really do love these board games, especially Disney ones like this, especially ones from the 80s, of course.
Cute.
While they're very simplistic in design and play, I know they created hours and hours of enjoyment for me as a kid, and I know Carrie had many board games when she was a child.
I did.
And they just create, a lot of fun, and they're still fun to pull out these days, even the kiddie ones. Don't be afraid if you're buying board games. Don't be afraid to pull them out and play them, because we have some fun with kids games. With all these board games. We've played pretty much all the board games, and we have a good time. So, and it is a lot of fun. So there you go, guys. That brings us to the end of this episode of Collection Expansion Extravaganza. Make sure you check us out on ToyWorldOrder.com as well as YouTube.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, just click the subscribe button. Helps us out tremendously. The more subscribers we get, the more videos we're able to do, and the more cool stuff we're able to bring to you. So make sure you check all that out. And of course, check out the podcast, David Devalls Toys and Collectibles, every Thursday on ToyWorldOrder.com, and Married to the Collection every other week on Tuesdays on ToyWorldOrder.com with myself and Carrie Devalls. So there you go, gang. Take care, and like we always say, keep digging, because you never know what you're gonna find. Like her. I found her and Doug. It's good times.
I was more than a quarter, though.
She was expensive.